Wow! Welcome back to the Real Ones Go Festa. Old Big Mac here, and it's New Year's Day, so we are doing a New Year's live stream. Let's get into it. All right, let's get this all set up here. Keith, Wog, how you doing, my man? Ah, glad to see some people out there. I'm still a little shaky, and the rest of the fam is currently in back to tanks with Nurgle's rot. So here we are. All right. Get some people going in here because we got some announcements to make for the new year and all sorts of new exciting things for the channel. So yeah, tell your friends, get everyone on here, and let's get into it. Zachary, happy new year. Save Master, happy new year. Keith, yeah. I'm feeling a little better. We got two grots down, really, really sick. Uh and yeah, two more holding up, trying not to get sick. So yeah, it's been quite the thing. So we've got some hobby stuff to talk about. We've got some work stuff to talk about, and we've got some channel stuff to talk about. So we'll get in all those things. But yeah, if anybody's got anything, throw it in the chat, and we will talk about it. And yeah, let's have some fun. All right, let me grab some goodies to show you guys. First of all, did Zach? Did I ever play on TTS? No. So I downloaded TTS. Actually, have it open on the other tab right here on the laptop. I got TTS on uh, uh, Steam, and I started following. There's like a whole bunch of guides, but I got one from Warboss Stan on like what mods to install and whatnot. I don't have all of them installed exactly right yet. I don't know exactly what I'm doing wrong, but I'm still working on it. That is my once I'm not constantly ferrying people around with sickness things, and I've got some hours to myself. I'm hoping to sit down and finish that out and get a TTS game in because I'm really excited to do that, especially with Warboss Nan. Keith, you're working on the kill rig you got for Chris Orkmas. Nice, nice. It's a journey on setup. It's pretty amazing. It is, Zachary. It does look amazing. I've watched a couple of battle reports on TTS and stuff, and it looks like super fun to play and intuitive and stuff like that. I just got to get through all the setup and stuff. All right. Did you guys see the last video on the 25th anniversary sale? Did you guys catch that? Keith, what is TTS? TTS is short for Tabletop Simulator. It's a game that you can buy. I got it on Steam. I don't know if you can get it anywhere else, but it simulates a whole bunch of different board games. But there's a bunch of mods you can do to make it simulate literal Warhammer 40,000. I think you can do a bunch of other GW games too. I know I've seen Age of Sigmar and maybe Old World and some things like that. But yeah, but you could play real deal 10th edition 40K on Tabletop Simulator. ID 673. You follow a guide for TTS that only needed like two mods. That was it. Dude, if you've got a link to that guide, can you throw it in the chat for everyone? That would be super awesome. I'd love to get some TTS games in with some of you guys. That'd be awesome. Joseph Ryan, happy birthday, question mark. It's not my birthday today. My birthday is on Friday. So yeah, if you guys want to do a birthday stream with old Big Mac, we could do something like that on Friday. Kiddo back to school tomorrow. I'm glad that ours are next week, but I'm back to work tomorrow. So uh, anyways, so yeah, did you guys see the video on the 25th anniversary sale? What'd you think of that? Hold on a sec. Got my nose going. Thanks for grinding up some smoothies. Fat Archon is a good simple one that's only like 2 months total, FTC competitive, and Yellow Scribe. The Yellow Scribe sounds familiar. Yellow Scribe is one of the mods I'm downloading. Happy early birthday in case Miss Friday. Thanks, Zach. Much appreciated. Yeah, Keith, I'm with you, man. I only got today off. I worked yesterday. I got to work tomorrow. I did take my birthday off, but mostly because everyone is still home from school and everyone is sick. We've done multiple urgent care runs already. So I didn't want to, it's my in-office day. I didn't want to go into the office. So yeah, whatever. Anyways, on the on this, on the sale, one of the things that the comments caught that was pretty cool, that was fun to think about and talk about, was the Space Marine chapter. Did you guys see this? So 25 years ago, when Games Workshop had their 25th anniversary, they did a sale, and one of the crazy things they did was you could buy an entire Space Marine chapter for $5,000, and it is extensive. So it is Ultramarines, but you got Marines Calgar, Chief Librarian Tigurius, 4 chaplains, a chaplain on bike, 5 librarians, and then you got all 10 companies. So like first company, you got 10 Terminator squads plus the big 3 Terminator characters, so Captain, Librarian, and Chaplain, along with 10 Land Raiders, and then 10 Razorbacks, because you also got 10 veteran squads. So that was just first company, but you got all 10 companies, and then this was my favorite part: you got a free Thunderhawk gunship. Could you imagine? I mean, the Thunderhawk itself is worth more than $5,000, at least today's. Just if these things wouldn't put a patch GM and run a sale that ends up costing more than the current price. I know, right, man? It just sucks. I wish there was a way that like we could figure out how to buy GW back from the stupid investors and make it what it used to be, because they used to run sales and promos and all sorts of fun things, and used to be a lot more for the hobbyist. I would love to see that come back. But yeah, anyways, so what one of the comments said was, because I talked about like what would this look like today, right? Like buying a whole Space Marine chapter in 2025, and of course you guys being orcs are all like, what about getting like, what's the orc equivalent of that? What would be like a whole orc clan, maybe? Like, well, what would you guys see? Like, throw it in the chat. What would you? So again, like super overview. It's 10 companies. Each company is at least 10 squads plus 10 vehicles plus a command squad, right? So you're looking at what, 100 squads of Space Marines, 10 squads of command squads, 100 rhinos. Is that right? Yeah, 10 times 10 is 100 rhinos, right? Plus 10 Razorbacks, plus 10 Land Raiders. So what would the orc version of this look like for the 50th anniversary, right? Yeah, Proteon Geek skulls. I've talked about that before. Actually, I have it right here in my magic box. This is my magic box I was telling you guys about. That if some random written a long time ago, some random box of receipts and things in here, and it's full of all sorts of cool stuff that I had saved. Yeah, right there is my skulls. Put that down so I can show you guys. So, for those of you that are unaware, this was Skulls, and it was a mail order program. So back before there was internet ordering, there was mail ordering. You'd get like catalogs and things in the mail, and then you could like mail in your order forms. And Games Workshop did a lot of loyalty things for it, and Skulls was one of their big ones. So for the whole year, you'd buy things and you get these little skull stickers, and you'd stick them on your card here and fill them in, and there were prizes every so often. So like at 10, once you got 10 skulls, you could get a Warhammer of Sigmar, a Velcro wallet, like with the Aquila on it, a Games Workshop mug. You could get the price guide, and the complete catalog, which the complete catalog was huge. It was the super thick tome. They were expensive, so that was a good one. There was also a bolt pistol key ring and orc head key ring. I'd love to get my hands on that because I never got that one back in the day. And the Imperial Eagle pin, and that's what I got. Is I did get the Imperial Eagle pin back in the day. And then at 25 skulls, you could get like a codex or a paint set. There was also a special. Oh, I should show it. Yeah, right here. You can get this special edition Bretonnian General. Right there, he was one of the 25 pointers, as well as the Space Marine Captain. This was the special edition guy that you could normally only get in the 3rd edition starter box, like the very first run of them only. This was the only other way to get him. And then this is that's the Eagle pin that I got. I got it in the case. I think I've showed it off a couple of times. But yeah, this orc head keychain, man. If any of you guys find that, well, Big Beck wants that. I need that to complete my collection. But yeah, then there was this super rad Ultramarines banner bearer. There was this orc bust too. It's a Forge World one. There we go. Right here. This guy. He was super duper rad. He was, old school Warhammer, but still a bust was really cool. This at 300, you got the Baneblade. At 150, you got the paint set. But the biggest thing to miss out on was right here at 100 skulls. You could get the Adeptus Mechanicus set. Now, Adeptus Mechanicus did not exist yet. That wasn't a real deal thing. They were in the books and in the lore and in some of the artwork, but they were not an army. And they didn't have any minis. These were the very first Adeptus Mechanicus minis, and they are stupid rare. If you had that set today, it is worth so much money. But there's 9 of them that were in metal, and then one Forge World resin one. And I think the Forge World resin one you could kind of keep getting after that, but those 9 metal ones, that was it, man. They only came in this, and that was that. And yeah, that set goes for stupid amounts. So yeah, that was Skulls. It would be cool to see them come up with something like that again. Like, even if you're paying full price for things, if every couple of bucks you spent, you got some actual cool promo things that you couldn't get any other way, like busts or original minis, that'd be really, really rad. I'd love to see something like that again. Oh, got super sidetracked. You got both mods in Steam Workshop. Yo, thanks, ID673. Much appreciated. Warhammer 40,000, where 40,000 is the number of orcs. I like that. 40,000 is the number of orcs. Because that's what it costs to get started in the hobby. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Hobbies are expensive. It doesn't matter if you're into watches or guitars or cars or whatever. Hobbies are expensive, but Warhammer is like, kind of feels especially expensive. Especially like I pretend to be a guitarist. Can't play very well at all. And I've only got 3 of them, and they're all like super low end, cheapy, intro guitars. But like, you can get legit really, really, really nice guitars for less than 500 bucks, like from big name manufacturers and stuff like that. You can't get a Warhammer army for 500 bucks. That's just not a thing. So like, put into that context, plus you still have to like build and paint and all that stuff. Like, yeah, you really start to understand just how expensive this hobby is. The nice thing about, not that there's a nice thing about a hobby being expensive, but Warhammer does seem to hold its value. So many other hobbies, once you've bought something, the value drops like a stone. Like, if you're into watches, right? You buy a watch, unless it's some super, super special edition thing. Obviously, we outside of my price ranges, right? Um, they're almost worthless on the second hand. Nobody, like, as cool as a G-Shock is, no one's gonna buy a G-Shock secondhand because you can buy a new one for 100 bucks. So why would you buy a used one when you could buy a new one at an inexpensive price? Guitars are the same way. Like, a guitar that, again, something decent, like a Squire, which is Fender's like overseas line. Um, Great beginner guitar, nothing wrong with it at all. You can get them for 200 to 500 bucks depending on which model they are. If you bought one new for 500 bucks, it's immediately worth 350 used, if that. And there's a glut of them at guitar stores. I think that one's kind of a little especially weird because a lot of people, I feel like, bought guitars in 2020 and then have now since given up. And so there's a lot of beginner level guitars laying around for not a lot. But long and short of it is, if you bought and built, whatever, a 2,000 point Warhammer army, if it's even remotely tabletop worthy, like not completely caked in paint and like all destroyed, like if you have a legit 2,000 point army, it's worth like 75 to 80% of the kit values easily. And if your paint job is good, it's actually worth more. Like, that used to be how I afforded this hobby. Is I would buy models and paint them and then sell them for more than a new model's worth, because a lot of people can't paint to that kind of level. And so it's like one of the few hobbies where if you really wanted to, you could like break even on it or even make some money on it because they are worth so much money. Yeah. Oh, let's see. What do we got here? Got to catch back up. Man, you guys are fast today. Zachary, official swag. Oh my God, joined too late. Oh, hey, we haven't talked about the official swag yet. We're getting to that. We've got some things to talk about on the channel. Some exciting things for Dorado Ones Go Fast Old Big Mac here. Because even though I can't run Games Workshop, I can run this channel, which means I can do fun things. Right? All right. Protein Geek. Oh, it's cool to see. Never got enough cash and never got the sheet with what you get. Yeah, it took a lot. I want to say you had to spend like $100 to get to the 10. I forget what it was. I think some of the things were worth more skulls than their dollars were, though. Like if you bought Forge World stuff, I think it was like triple the amount of skulls as regular Games Workshop stuff. There was also like bits were worth more, which seems kind of counterintuitive because bits were cheap, but a model was worth more money in bits than complete, if that makes sense. Like if a complete guide was 15 bucks and he was made of 3 bits, they might sell the two individual bits, like his gun and his sword, for 5 bucks each. They were making more money selling the bits than they were selling the dude. So like you got a better deal on the bits than the guy. Yeah, there's no like price list with it that tells you uh, what it was. And I don't have that one. I think that one got lost in the sands of time. But yeah, it wasn't a straight 1-to-1. But I do think that like the general, like if you just bought, Squad at Works or Truck or whatever, it would be like a skull for every 10 bucks or something like that. So you just spend $100 to get the 10 skulls to get the first level thing. So yeah. Wookiees and came in too late. Is this one of those rewards Boy Scout programs or selling enough popcorn? No, man, nothing like that at all. All you got to do is be here and hang out with old Big Mac. We are definitely going to have rewards for everything, man. Didn't you guys learn from doing the Kit Bash challenge? Old Big Mac likes to make sure everybody gets in on the good stuff. I don't want to paywall things, man. Everything else in this hobby costs money. Everything else in this hobby is like, oh, you got to be, on our Patreon at such and such a level. And God, some of these channels, man, they're charging like 25 bucks a month for people to get like early access to a video. Like that just seems so ridiculous to me, dude. So yeah, we try to keep it as cheap as possible and just share the love and all that stuff. All right, Keith, what is on that t-shirt? Oh, it is something orky, my man. This is Six Shooters. So for those of you that don't know, Six Shooters is the fake band that does the whole soundtrack on the video game Shooters Blood and Teeth. And when the game first came out, you could order this special edition shirt, which also had their tour dates and stuff on it. And yeah, I did get that because it was really cool and I really wanted it. So it's in my collection of Orky shirts because I do try to collect all of the Orky shirts. So I've got this one. I've got the actual Shooters Blood and Teeth World Tour one. I've got I'm a tank from Poor Hammer. I've got the Orc with the skateboard one, all punk rock style from Squidmar. Obviously, Red Squig for mine. Yeah, I like all the Orky shirts. Zach got lucky, found a very affordable commission painter to help me hit 2K. Dude, that's nice. If you can find somebody that's affordable, or like a buddy or something like that. I used to way back in the day when I was in like high school. I would paint for friends, and it would be like instead of them paying me to paint, I'd have them like buy me some models for my army or trade me some of their models for my army. That was how I was able to like build up quite a bit of stuff, especially with like Dark Eldar at the time. Nobody wanted to play Dark Eldar, and so everybody was sitting around on a bunch of Dark Eldar stuff that wasn't really worth much. eBay was just getting started at that kind of time. Um, and was like a faff because there was no digital payments. You had to like, if you won an auction, and they were only auctions, there were no buy now. So you had to like fill out a money order and mail that to the person, and then the person would cash the money order and then mail you the thing back. It took like a month to get anything. eBay was really, really, really low end at that time. So yeah, like there was no way to really get rid of some of these things. And so yeah, I had a bunch of friends sitting in Dark Eldar. I was like, man, I could get all this stuff for really cheap. Don't really have any money, but hey, I'll paint your unit or your model or whatever. You trade me some of your stuff, and that's how I was able to build up my Dark Eldar army. Blissful Badger, yeah, GW pricing get out of control, dude. It is. I mean, inflation is high on everything, but oh my goodness, it. I mean, I was in we got a new friendly local game store that's like a mile and a half from the house, and they carry Games Workshop stuff. I was all excited about it because they actually offer a discount on a lot of it, but they don't discount the kill teams. And the kill teams, man, some of them are like 80 bucks. And I'm like, 10 dudes, it's a single squad for 80 bucks. The new Breaking Boys are going to be like that. The only good thing about them is that you could build 2 squads out of that sprue, like the old Bernas and Ludas. So at least I can like drum up some bodies and get 2 squads out of it. But yeah, man, like Space Marine Scouts, I really do like the Scouts. I want to add them to my Space Marine army. One of my kids really wants them for his army too. And I was like, man, it'd be really cool to like get him the Scouts for Christmas. I couldn't stomach it. I couldn't pay 80 bucks for 10 Scouts. I just couldn't do it. So yeah. The other day I bought a box of Meganos. I love this can for only 3 minutes. I feel you. I feel you, ID. I really do. Meganos was one of the worst ones. However, they do give you so many weapons in there. Go get yourself a set of the Terminators, or I talked about. I did a whole video on this, but there's a whole bunch of other bodies you can get that are really, really good for it. The crisis suits from Tau, Terminators from Space Marines. There's those two robots that are in the Necromunda kit. Those guys are really cool too, especially if you're gonna do the characters. You could totally build one of them into a big mech in mega armor, and then do the other ones like a war boss mega armor, or even just a mega armor knob. So yeah, I've got like 6 legit mega armor knob or mega knobs. I got one metal one, 5 plastic ones, and then my big mech and mega armor is plastic from the kit. So I've done 2 legit kits, but all of my spare parts are being put together with those other bodies to make another 6 that are going to be, I mean, still tournament legal. They're all Games Workshop and whatever, but yeah, they're not going to be the mega armor bodies because yeah, dude, I'm with you. They're just nuts. Zach, I wish you at least got a full squad. I know, man. Like, if they ever redo that kit, and they should, because they're really short and they're kind of finicky to put together, and the weapon loadouts that come with it don't match the codex anymore. If they ever redo that kit, it should be 5 mega knobs in the box. And frankly, the big mech and mega armor should be his own separate standalone kit, like the War Boss mega armor. That'd be cool. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Wookie Sins, so ready to get started on my Oops All Wookiees already. Dude, it was so funny. I saw you post that on the Discord. You're like, oh, like I found this one thing. I'm not gonna get into the game, but they had this one thing, and I'm like, within 24 hours, I bet there's going to be, and sure enough, within 24 hours. So I went a little crazy and I got an entire army. Oh, it'd be hard to resist at 50% off. So, funny story about Star Wars Legion. When Legion came out, I was out of Warhammer at that point. I didn't have anything Warhammer. I was all in on X Wing and stuff like that. And Legion got announced, and I got really excited for it. I was like, oh man, I'd love to get into Legion. It's like having Warhammer, but without having to pay like GW prices and stuff, right? And where I was living at the time, I had a really good friendly local game store, and they did a deal with me. They're like, we're getting 2 boxes in pre-order, like before they come out, to have them ready for launch day. They're like, we'll give you one of the starter boxes if you paint the other one entirely for the store. So that's what I did. I painted the stormtroopers and the rebel troopers, and Luke and Vader and all that. And on launch day, we had it set up. We had 2 boards out and all the things set out, and they're doing demo games all day, and I volunteered there all day to like run the demo games. One person came, only one. And again, this was in an area that had a super huge following for X-Wing and for Destiny, that Star Wars like dice and card game, and Warhammer at the time. Like I thought it was going to be this perfect storm of people being like, "Oh man, here's like this really cool game," and it just never took off. And the hard part I have with it is, other than the fact that you can't get real original with Star Wars stuff like you can get original with 40K stuff, is that uh Fantasy Flight, who ran it, they ran X-Wing to the ground, they ran Legion to the ground, they run everything to the ground. So yeah, it would be super hard to get into. And now there's Shatterpoint that people would rather do that one instead. And I don't know, it's a whole thing. But I'm happy for you. I'm looking forward to seeing your army, and I wish you luck with it. Yes, Zach, the Rattlings of Grot. So that is the brutal, brutal and cunning set, the new Kill Team set. I have not seen any anywhere. There's still some out there in like friendly local game store lands. None of mine have any left. They did have on launch day. I just didn't buy any. I didn't have any teeth for it. But yeah, if you get the launch set, it's got the Breaka Boys and the Rattlings and the terrain and like all the Kill Team books and all that stuff. If you're not wanting to actually play Kill Team and you're not interested in the terrain, I wouldn't recommend getting it. Even as cool as the Rattlings are, like I don't know. But if you can find it and you really want it, yeah, the Rattlings, like you literally just put grot heads on them. Like it couldn't be an easier conversion, and they make an excellent grot kill team. They look so stinking cool. Yeah, if one of those boxes landed on my doorstep, I would be a very happy Big Mac. Pretty geek. I've always had to pay the Australia tax. Ooh, dude. I mean, the only people that can play more than you are the Kiwis or the New Zealanders. They're even worse. But yeah, man, Australia gets absolutely whacked. The really weird thing about that is it used to be the opposite. So fifth edition days. In fact, I've showed the box a bunch of times. I got an orc mega force, right? That's what we call battle forces now used to be mega forces, where you got like an entire army in a box. And Games Workshop was doing a mega force run. And at the time, the dollar was like so inverted from the Australian dollar or something like that. The pricing structure, we literally bought online through an Australian retailer and shipped to the United States, and it was like half the price of buying it in the US. It was stupid. It was so bizarre. So it there was a point in time for like 6 solid months. I bought all my Games Workshop stuff out of Australia. So yeah, how it ended up like how it is now, I don't know. I don't understand. But yeah, that had to be like God, 15 years ago at least, if not a little more. Probably around like I want to say like 2007, 2008, somewhere in there. But yeah, Bill Lilly, Ambots. That's what I was trying to think of. Thank you. The Ambots. Those make, I think, the best mega armor substitutes. I mean, the other ones do look good. They do look good, especially like the Terminators are very lore accurate. The original mega armor knobs were literally Terminator armor, literally. So like it works, but the Ambots make, especially on your characters, like just exquisite. And you get two of them in the box. And Necromunda is actually really decently priced, and you can often find it for 15 to 20% off on like eBay, maybe Amazon. So yeah, just something to think about. Ambots is what you want. Josh, got to get on the Discord. Dude, you got to get on the Discord. The Discord's awesome. There's literally a link in like almost every single thing I post to the Discord, and it's always live and it's always free. Again, I don't get why other channels like lock their Discord server behind a paywall. Like, it's so weird to me. Like, don't you want people to come talk about your videos? Don't you want people to come talk about your hobby and like make a community? Like, we wouldn't have Stank Shop to run the contests with us. We wouldn't have Blissful Badger doing his live streams and building really cool things and showing off his stuff. And like there's so much going on in our Discord that's amazing, and all because we didn't paywall it. Like, come on, man. You guys gotta get in on the Discord. ID 673 ordered a Terminator kit for the Mega Knobs. The guy working on the local game stores to play it works. Gives me a bunch of old bits. Dude, that's nice. Anytime you guys can get bits from somebody, absolutely go for it. Um, like orc players especially like to be very sharing with their bits and stuff like that. But yeah, like if there's anybody in your local crew that's got bits that they're not using, grab them. Even if they're not work stuff, man, you can use so much of it. Like collecting bits definitely helps you build all your kit bashes. George really liked Six Shooters Caesar. I do too, man. Again, it's the band that does the soundtrack for Shooters Blood and Teeth. They're a real band, but this was their fake persona for the game. So yeah, it was really fun. Obviously, don't tell the Goth Rockers, but you got to listen to them too. Listen to the Goth Rockers. But yeah, it's fun having all the different bands and stuff. So yeah, really cool shirt. We can see an FFG does seem to over design their games for the Armada designers. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, Wookie, Fantasy Flight, man, they are rough with their games. X-Wing 1.0 was actually excellent. It was really excellent until the very end where they just overpowered everything. It was really stupid. And then they completely murdered it with 2.0. And then 2.0 finally kind of got to where it was decent. And then again, they kind of overpowered it and stupided it. Armada was never decent. I mean, I love the minis. I love the game. I want to play the game. Not like BFG was all that good either. Let's be honest here. BFG was a really overcomplicated, dumb game too. But yeah, Armada was no better. And yeah, I don't get why do they have to make games so complicated? Like a simple game doesn't mean that it's like low brow or anything like that. Like, I mean, honestly, chess, I mean, it's really difficult to master, but the game itself, the game rules are very simple, right? Each piece only moves one kind of way, and like you win the match by getting the other king. Those are pretty darn simple rules, but the game is considered very highbrow and very intellectual. So why do tabletop games have to have like crazy amounts of rule books? It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. I don't follow it at all. He ended up getting it on eBay for only a $10 market. Dude, No way. You got Brutal and Cunning for like MSRP on eBay? Dude, fist bump to you. That is rocking. John, I want to like Shatterpoint, but I wish it was on the same scale as Necromunda. Now, see, that would have been really smart. Yeah, I haven't seen the Shatterpoint guys in person, but they're like kind of big, right? Yeah, if it was Necromunda size, that'd be cool. Raincoast Bear pre-ordered Brutal and Cunning, but my store got shorted. That's 5 out of 6 kill team sets, and never really got to use this. Yeah, Raincoast, I don't understand what is going on with the kill team sets like that. They had the same problem with the Space Hulky ones, right? They had like the 4 different ones that all had the Space Hulk terrain inside of them. That was all about the Space Hulk that was coming in and crashing. The first one sold out like everywhere right away, and then the second one and third one came out like weeks apart from each other. And so then they were like really easy to find because people got confused on like, well, which one's the new one? Or they didn't realize it was 2 different boxes. And then the fourth one was like vaporware. I don't know of anybody that ever even got the fourth one, man. It's just, I don't know who's doing their releases or their production numbers, but then they come out with like uh these battle forces for the 3 Ordos, right? Herectus, Malleus, and Xenos. They way overproduce those. Those are some of the cheapest boxes you can get. Have you guys seen that? You can get Ordo Malleus on Amazon for like $160. Dude, that is an insanely good deal because they have just so overdone those boxes. So it's like, who's deciding how many boxes of these things to make? Like, the kill teams are going to sell out. The kill teams are going to go like really, really well. There's the only kill team box that's ever sat on shelves has been that really crappy one, the Kill Team Arena with the Necrons. That was like the second or third kill team box ever from like 2020 or 2019. That was like the only one that ever sat around. Everything else has completely sold out. So like, why make so few of those and then make so many of these other things? It's really, really weird. Chess, the top war game. Chess is the top war game. Blissful Badger, not looking forward to the Star Wars Legion SWO. Okay, new rule set, increasing points to 1K and allowing doubled units. Really? That's what they're doing? Oh man. Yeah, see, if I was still in, I'd be out like that. Like the one nice thing Legion had going for it when it first came out is it was a more manageable size. It was, you had a couple of squads, a couple of characters, maybe one vehicle. It was a lot more manageable than like 40K, and it had this really nice sweet spot because like Kill Team is fun. Kill Team is really, really cool. I don't badmouth Kill Team at all. I really enjoy it. I'm just not a squad game kind of guy. Like that's not my jam. And 40K, right? Or Age of Sigmar, Old World, all those. They're really, really big, right? You're taking 2,000 point armies. You're talking like 100 dudes. It is a thing. Games take like 3 to 4 hours now. The original Star Wars Legion was like this super sweet spot of like it wasn't that many models, but you still felt like you were running an army, right? Like that's what was really cool about it. I was like, oh, I have like a squad here, and I've got like a squad here. I've got like this little elite squad over here, and I've got this character, and I've got this vehicle. And that was it. It was like playing at like 1,000 point level of like 40K third edition. And it was just this really, really sweet spot, game in under an hour. But again, you weren't running a squad. You weren't running like an RPG, like a Shatterpoint with like a couple of characters, and you weren't like full meal deal 40K. It was this beautiful mid-level army size that still felt like an army. I really did enjoy that. Chess rules haven't changed in hundreds of years either. Hey, Sid Master, big chess, they could make a lot of money if they came out with Chess 2.0. I'm just saying. Protein Geek, FFG burnt me with the LCG, which I played competitively and got top 2 in my state ones. Ooh, nice. They killed it to replace it and stay to wait on every new game and none to developing a local scene. That is like FFG's story with everything, right? Like everything they did, like the original version, brilliant, right? Brilliant, great games. People play them, they get into them, and right at the top of the scene, when like they've finally got market share, and it's like, oh man, this there's finally something to rival Magic, or finally something to rival Warhammer, and then they just right in their own foot twice, and you're like, what are you doing? And then completely kill everything. Yeah, they did that with the living card game. They did that with X-Wing. They did it with Destiny, the one I talked about with the dice. Um, God, so many other games, so many games. Yeah. So yeah, I'm uh they weren't the ones that were doing War at Sea, were they either? You guys know what I'm talking about? Axis and Allies, the board game. There was Axis and Allies, the miniatures game. They had like the land minis, and they did like I don't know 3 seasons of that, and then they changed the scale and made them bigger, and that kind of like killed the scene. And then after a while, the bigger scale finally started catching on, and they killed that again. And then they made War at Sea, which was the all the sea battle versions. That game was glorious, absolutely glorious. And then they got into a tiff with the designer and fired him, and he like put all the iconic ships that were left out in the last set, and everybody that knew anything knew that it was over because instead of being in country order, they were like kind of all wacky all over the place. I did good on that. I sold out. I sold my entire War at Sea collection at the height of popularity and made like hundreds of dollars on in profit on it. But yeah, that really sucked to see that game go down. So many games that have just been completely bamboozled. Nice, easy space available now in a War Game Vault and Amazon Void Admiral. Ooh, Void Admiral, huh? All right, I'll have to check that one out. Thank you, Raincoat Spirit, because I love me a spaceship game. Love me a spaceship game. Really, really love spaceship games. No good ones right now, so I'll check that out. Shatterpoint is closer in scale to Marvel Crisis Protocol. Now, see, I see why they're doing the larger scale for those games, though, because you're only running a few minis, and they are very iconic minis. Like, do you want to paint a Darth Vader that's this big, or do you want to paint one that's this big? You know, so it's same thing with like Wolverine or whatever. I get the larger size. Like, if you're only going to be running 3 to 5 to 6 guys, that makes sense. That makes sense. Where's old Big Mac's custom made orc chess set? Okay. Best Grot. He loves chess. Absolutely loves it. I want to make him a custom chess set for his birthday. And yes, one side will be orcs. So yeah, well, that's coming. That was one of the things we're going to talk about and announce on the channel. So yeah, we will definitely be doing a whole series on how to make yourself a Warhammer chess set. Um, Fun fact: look at Blood Bowl. Blood Bowl, I think, is where it's at for most kits at the moment for both kit bashing and doing cool things like that because they're a little bit cheaper than all the 40K stuff. And the sculpts are just really, really amazing. Blood Bowl is kind of like what is it? Underworlds, right? Underworlds has these amazing sculpts, amazing sculpts. Blood Bowl is like that too, only squad size instead of like little itty bitty bitty sized. Yeah. Let's see, we said 500-point list is only 14 models. Now see, but that's again, you're hitting a sweet spot, I think, with that smaller size. I don't know. We'll see. Rinko Spell, LFG Self Kill Team 2018 stuff at full price. Jeez. Opportunity cost, man. Business 101. That is awful. 7 years on the shelf and like all of the profit that they could have made on other things on the shelf gone by just sitting on that and not coming down the price at all. That's insane. War Bosses of the Apocalypse was on this morning. Now yours. It's been an extremely orky day. Whoop, Keith, that's the way to break in the new year, right? All orky. Pretend Geek Word. See, Avalon Hill. Yes. Yeah, it was Avalon Hill that did that. Sorry. I mean, a game gets shut, completely shut down like that. And you just kind of assume that it's. Yeah, I was going to say, assume that it's Wizards of the Coast, but that was the wrong one too. There's a lot of game companies that really screw things up, aren't there? Like, that's the part I always laugh about when people start like bad talking about Games Workshop and how screwed up they do things. And they do. I mean, you guys have heard me rant. Games Workshop is not the greatest out there. But compared to like Wizards of the Coast and Avalon Hill and Fantasy Flight, like they're all ridiculous. I don't know what it is about this. Man. Uh, oh, dude, the War Bosses mentioned me. Oh, that's awesome. I really wanted to watch. I saw it come up on my notification and stuff. But again, like literally everyone is sick. We thought we were going to do another run to urgent care this morning. It's just been bananas. So like I had to go pick up a bunch of soup and had to go get medications, from the pharmacy. It's been a whole thing, and the whole time like I'm trying to get better myself too. So yeah. And nothing but good things. Dude, nice. It's good to know the War Bosses are loving this. I love 6 Plus Steve. I watch his stuff all the time. He did a really, really, really cool video. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but you should definitely check it out on 6 Plus Stevo's channel. He did one where he was at a cathedral, like an actual legit like from the medieval times cathedral, and he was like He was like kind of sitting in the courtyard for a while talking about things, but also he like walked around and like showed you on video like some of the Gothic architecture and how that like pulled into 40K. And dude, it was like really, really cool to watch. It was one of those ones where I work from home most of the time, and I often have YouTube playing like on my personal computer in the background just to like help me concentrate and stuff. So one of those ones where I'm sitting there, and I'm like, like next thing I know, I've watched the whole video and like I've logged out of work and all that stuff. Like it was a really good one, really really good one. Just been buying Underworld tips. Yeah, dude, Underworld is great. In fact, if you can get your hands on that Underworld special set that came out a couple of weeks ago, it's the Destruction. So it's got 4 kill teams in it, or Underworld warbands or whatever. But there's like the Orc one, which those bodies are going to be great for making Breakaboys. And then there's the Grot one, which the Grots in it are great. And then there's the one that it's the big captain guy that makes the best basis for making your own Captain Badrock, and then he's got a couple of grots with him, and then there's like one other team that like at that point they're just bonuses. That box is an amazing box, absolutely amazing. Keith, nice dude. That's awesome that they plugged us, man. Just maybe I should try to design my own tabletop game, miniature agnostic. Yeah, I feel you, Joseph, and it's something I've thought about, and and have talked with other people about doing. But I feel like the market is really saturated with that right now. It really is. Like, there's one-page rules, and there's so many Kickstarters and so many like STL companies, and like if you want to play a game, there's a million different ways to do it right now. The problem with all of those is if you make them too agnostic like that, you're not going to draw anybody in, right? Like you've got to draw people in, and that's the thing that I think a lot of people miss when they design their own games is they make it like a riff on something else. Like this new, what is it, Trench Crusade? Like that one looks really cool, but it's like 40K mixed with Sith or whatever that board game is. That's kind of alternative World War I future history thing. um it's kind of neat, but also like it's not really its own thing. I don't know, it's just it's really 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 hard to break into those realms, and with so many of them being free, like one-page rules and stuff like that, like yeah, I don't know if there's any room there. I think especially on the miniature side, like if you start designing your own minis, there are so many people that do their own minis, and they're just, I think everybody's inboxes are flooded with STL files, and nobody's actually printing any of this stuff. And like if you do print it, then you got piles of printing in your closet that you're not touching. Not that I would know, not that I would know that at all. You know, Chris K, Happy New Year, lads. Happy New Year, Chris. Yeah, dude. So kill team, like, so I tried to get into those kill teams that were on the Space Hulky thing because I loved Space Hulk the game, and I thought that like that would be the way to get me into kill team is like, oh, instead of like looking at it like kill team is running a squad, but like looking at it more like the board game and doing all the, and then plus then they came out with boarding actions at the same time. It's like, boom, that's it. I'm in. Like boarding actions, I'm super in. This is a great thing to do. And I just couldn't get my hands on the boxes. I only got the one box out of the 4, and yeah, at this point, I literally Into the Dark. That's the one I have, is the End of the Dark. I literally have it down here next to me to put up for sale on eBay because like never built it, never got around to it. Boarding actions is like come and gone and come again. And like I can't even get a game in. I can't even get the terrain built. Like, I don't know, man. But I was really excited for it when it came out. I really was. Franco Spirit painting commandos this week, hoping to play some Kill Team 2024 soon. Nice. Can't get the G wrappings paint up with Victoria Miniatures. Dude, okay, so I've seen a bunch of the Victoria Miniatures stuff in person. It's really, really good. It is really good. I will totally give that to them. They make the best guard stuff at the moment. Once the new Deathcore Creed comes out, that's probably going to change. But I do like a lot of the things that they have. I was just looking at their version of like the Vostroyan Firstborns over the weekend. There was another local store that had kind of a bunch of leftovers on sale that I was like, oh, maybe I should get some Vostroyan Firstborns to go with my Valhallans, and I decided that they look just a little too different. Mr. Seven just got done building your stomp a couple days ago. Awesome. Everybody needs a Stompa. Everybody needs a Stompa. Love a Stompa. Hundreds of rule sets and war games of all genres, both admitted. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, even I've got like, I don't know, 6 or 7 different, PDF printouts or like little books that I bought for super cheap that are rule sets for like different ways to play Warhammer that aren't the actual Warhammer 40K rules. And heck, if I've actually played any of them, because I don't know, it's just you got to find somebody else that wants to play that same rule set is the problem. Like, I think that's the big deal, right? As hard as 40K is, that's what everybody plays. And if you're like, well, I want to play a different rule set, you got to find somebody else that wants to play that exact same rule set. Like, what if I want to play one page rules, but you want to play something different, like Trench Crusade or whatever? If you know Trench Crusade and I know one page rules and they're not compatible, they're not the same, we're not gonna play the game. We're gonna end up playing 40K 10th edition anyway. So that's like, how do you get the market share of that? How do you like really become like the alternative rule set? Yeah, it's just nah. Let's see. Bought a Stompa like 2 weeks ago. And I said, hey, Gabster, if you want to sell that Stompa, shoot me up in the Discord. Not that I need one. It's so I built one way back in the day, but again, it was for a friend, so it wasn't even mine. And then I got this one, my big Stompy, right? If I can like, it's so hard to do this because when you film for like the YouTube videos, it's mirrored, and so it's easy to like do your motions. But with this, it's flipped, so it's the right way. So now it's like I got to move the other way. Anyways, my big Stompy right there, I got him used, so he's already built. So I have not built one for myself. I really, really want to build it for myself. So I keep trying to like sucker War Boss Ken into getting that one from me. Like if he could trade me a new Stampa, I would totally trade him that one that's already in his army's colors because I want to build one for myself. Uh, let's see. These all those alternatives have the same main problem. GW, Warhammer, D&D, and Magic, they are the top dogs, and many places don't have enough players to go around. That is literally it. I mean, you see that even with like the big Star Wars games and stuff. They have a super hard time cutting into the market share of those big three. Like if you play cards, 75% of the people play Magic. The other 25% is everything else cut up, right? Like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon and whatever else is out at the moment. Like Lorcana has been like the biggest thing to happen since Decipher's Star Wars CCG 30 years ago. Like there's just it's like this tiny, tiny, tiny little section of the pie that is available to you that's not Magic. Everything else, 75% at least, is Magic, and you're never going to touch it. And it's the same thing with tabletop. 75% or more is Warhammer, and you're fighting for everybody else, and the everybody else plays everything else. They're the people that already don't play 40K, right? They're playing Underworlds or Necromunda or whatever, and they decide to go play these other games, and they're the ones that are going to game hop. You're not actually getting any market share of 40K. It's just that is what it is. Yeah, very rarely it takes a long term. Yeah, exactly. Like even if you find somebody that's like, oh yeah, no, I'll totally play that game with you, right? It might be like you and one other person, and you might get a couple of games in, and then it's just gonna die because you're not getting anybody else into it. You're not getting any kind of even local, thing going on. So I'd like to build a stomp, but maybe print one. Bamboo A1 filament print is awesome on print models. Nice. Yeah, so I've got an FDM printer. I had gotten it to do like terrain and stuff because as much as I love like kit bashing models and stuff, terrain is a lot harder to kit bash and a lot harder to deal with. And then plus being FDM being plastic, you can still like print and then like glue things to it. And then I lost interest in it and it's been in the closet ever since. But I the advances that they've had since then definitely makes me want to like get it out and do some FDM printing again and get into doing some more terrain and things. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Big Mac got a Decajit coming. Which variant should I build? All of them. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Yeah. There we go. All right. Get your notebooks out. You're going to learn something right now. The Decajit model comes with all of the parts to build all 4 variations, okay? Decajit, Burnabama, Blitzabama, Wazbomb, Blastojet. The secret to that box is they give you 2 complete sets of wings, the tail fins, and the cockpits, along with all of the weapons, which means all you need is a second fuselage, and you can make yourself 2 of the jets. Okay. Now, what a lot of people do is they'll buy a Megatruck scrapjet and they'll turn it into the other jet. Don't do that. One, it doesn't have a bottom on it. And then two, it's actually really short. It's been shortened compared to a real one. What you want is a 1/48 scale MiG 15 or 17 or F-86 Sabre. These are the jets from the Korean War. You don't need to pick up a new one. Go to like a hobby shop that sells like old used kits, or buy one on eBay for super cheap. Like you should be able to get one of these kits for like $5 or less. And the literal only thing you're going to use out of it is this right here. This is the fuselage. And what you're going to do is you're going to build this one into the Dakajet variant. You're going to put the swept wings on this. You're going to put the Dakajet cockpit and nose and tail fins on this. And this is going to be your Dakajet. And then all the real parts you use to build the Wazbomb. And so the Wazbomb has the great big straight wings, and the Dakajet has the small slanted wings. So that is your secret right there. $5, get yourself a 1/48 scale MiG 15 or 17. This one's a 17, or an F-86, and you can totally build yourself 2 of the 4 variants right out of the box. Could not be any easier. Repeat that scale. 1/48, 1/48. I'll put it in the chat. 1/48 MiG 15 or MiG 17. You'll also see it like this with the colon. Yeah. So speaking of this was the whole point of this entire stream, actually. All of you guys are going to get a sneak peek at what the next video is going to be. And I don't know if that video is going to, if I'm going to have time to film that today or tomorrow, or possibly on Friday. But the next video is going to be on New Year, New Army. And for New Year, New Army, old Big Mac is giving away his army. So this is just a small selection of what is on offer here. Now, what the deal is when I was doing my State of the Collection video, I realized that I'm sitting on way more orcs than even I thought I had. And I was like, what do I do with all of these? And I decided, you know what? I should give them away. So what we're going to do is New Year, New Army. Only instead of New Year, New Army, it's going to be New Year, more orcs. And so you guys are going to have the chance to win old Big Mac's army. Now, I'm not getting into my actual army or my painted guys or anything like that. What this is it's going to be all of these spare kits and all of these goodies. Somebody's going to get a ton of orcs. So far, this is just so far. This isn't even everything yet. We got us. Let's see here. I don't even have room to put all this stuff down. We got a biker squad. There's a complete biker squad right there. Everything you need to build bikes. There is a boys squad right there. Classic boys squad. 11 boys on that one. So everything you need to make a boys squad, all new on the sprue. And then there's going to be a bunch of things that are built and primed, but not necessarily painted ready to go. There's a truck right here, complete truck ready to go. Bits, you're going to get a whole bunch of bits to go with all of this. Oh, here's another one new on the sprue. There is a Pain Boy that's going to be included. And then, yeah, and then there's going to be orcs. On orcs, right? There's at least a knob squad in here. There's a bunch of these Black Orc guys that make great kit bashing, especially like you want to make your new Breaker Boys. Just change that axe into a tank hammer, right? Boom, Breaker Boy. There's going to be a squad of those guys. And there's going to be resin goodies. So this is a resin Big Mac in Mega Armor. Altered up in clear resin, really, really cool looking. So he's got like the custom force field thing going on. I've got a Megatruck scrapjet. There's pieces of it missing that still are in the box, right, to go with it. But yeah, there's a Megatruck scrapjet. There is a bunch of 3D printed parts. There's a bunch of these like exhaust pipes and things. You could hack these off and glue them to other things. And there is the aforementioned fuselage for your own DACA, including the actual legit GW flight stand for them. So you'll be able to put this together along with your DACA to make yourself DACA. We got some guys with banners. We got some knobs. We got some Gundam parts. We got some missiles. So yeah, basically, there is going to be a contest in January, and you're going to win Old Big Mac's Orc Army. Now, I'm also going to include some decals with that. And again, more stuff. That's just what I found on the first go around. I am trying to reduce the number of projects I have. And the best way to do that is to pawn them off on you. And you guys can do the projects. Keith, it is not possible to have too many orcs. What I have is too many of the same kind of orcs, right? So like I have 3 full 10-man bike squads built, painted, done already. I don't need any more bikes. I physically, literally cannot use any more bikes. And there's no point in keeping them for conversions because things like Warboss on bike and Painboy on bike, they don't exist anymore, right? And so that's what a lot of this stuff was, is I was saving things for conversions for units that no longer exist, right? So now that there's no need to have them for kit bashing or scratch building, I should move those along so that I can get other different works in and get the things I want. So like knobs, for example, I have 30 knobs on their own, plus I have knobs for all of my squads, plus I have a bunch of extra knobs for kit bashing. I still have more knobs on top of that. Like even getting rid of a bunch of knobs, I'm still going to have squads of knobs laying around doing nothing. So might as well move those along. Same with the old school boys. I have 120 old school boys. I don't need another 120 of them because I think I'm up to like 240 total. So yeah, so it's going to be a lot of older things like that. But if you don't have those things, if you haven't been around that long, if you're wanting to make your orc army bigger, it's going to be a really, really great thing. So yeah, it's going to be one person is going to win all of that in one go. So that's going to be the contest. I've learned in the doing the decals, international shipping has gotten completely insane. I got these little mailers, right? It's just it's a stiff like hard paper mailer. These things have cost like tens of dollars each to mail to all the foreign countries. So I don't know about mailing the whole giant army to a foreign country. So I've got to come up with something for like all of you guys that are overseas to win. But yeah, I will come up with something. So the idea is going to be, you're going to have to probably be in the US, but somebody randomly is going to win that entire army. And Capcom, the winners pay shipping. That's I like the idea of that option, but I do know from experience that some countries are incredibly expensive to ship to. And I don't think that like making somebody pay to get what they've won is cool. Like that's just not something I want to do. That doesn't feel good, right? Like the whole point is you should be excited that you won something. It's free, it's new, it's for you. And yeah, you shouldn't have to pay for it or do anything with it. So yeah, I not gonna do that. But yeah, anyways, Keith, MechBoy bike. If you want to build a MechBoy bike, you absolutely can. I already have one. I don't need a second one. I can't even use the one I got. So, yeah, that's that. ID673. I know. I feel you, man. International shipping is very expensive. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have a prize for my international guys. That's going to be not an army, but something really cool if they want to participate. But I think the army is going to have to stick with US just for shipping because that lot right there is already over 5 pounds by itself, right? By the time in a box and packaging and all that, you're talking about a 10-pound box. And that's just what I've got so far. I'm definitely intending on making it bigger. Like it's going to legit be an entire army, an entire army. So yeah, it's going to be really, really fun to win. Did you say you're doing a video on the Wazbomb kit trick? Yeah. I probably should do a video on the Wazbomb trick. There's no trick to it. It's super duper easy. You buy that model kit, you put the two pieces of the fuselage together, and then you glue the orc bits to it. Like, it takes nothing to do that kit. It is one of the easiest conversions out there. It's really, really, really fun. Some of your hobby stuff. Yeah. Yeah, Keith. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing is I want to make sure that even if you already have works, even if you already have all of those works, again, because most of these I was saving for kit bash opportunities, I'm going to give you all of the bits and things to do those kit bashes. So like I was showing you the old school old world Warhammer Black Orcs, like the guy with the double-handed axe. I'm going to give you all the stuff to actually make him into the tank hammer guy because that's what I was going to do with him anyway. Like, you're going to get all of those bits with it. So yeah, there's going to be like a pound of bits and tons of orcs, both built and new on sprue to give you options. But yeah, somebody is going to win Old Big Mech's army. Raincoat Spirit, only a couple hours of I-5, but cross-border a lot. So if you can get, so like you can get it shipped to, like a holding box in Blaine. I used to live up in Bellingham, so I know what you're saying when you say I-5 right over the border. um, if you can get it shipped somewhere in the States and you can come over the border to get it, that'd be totally cool. I'd be totally down for that. So yeah, still ironing out details, but the contest is going to be win old Big Mech's orc army. And how you're going to enter is simple. Support Big Mech in some way over the course of January. So everybody that is a Patreon is already entered. Boom, you're done. Everybody that's already a channel member is already entered. Boom, you're done. Anybody that like puts something into the chats in the live stream, entry. Anybody that the Discord is going to have, because Discord itself, like not my Discord, but like Discord itself, you could buy this Nitro Pass or whatever, and you get like all these crazy like little emojis and whatnot. You can like put a thing for that on your Discord so that people can use like special thingies on your server. We're getting that set up, so if you buy into that, boom, you're entered. So do literally anything like that to support, and you're going to have an entry to win the army. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a live stream, and we'll have every single entry in the hat, and we'll draw a name out of the hat on the live stream, and that person is going to win Old Big Mech's army. So again, I'm going to have all of this on a video, but I wanted to do a live stream about it because it's fun to do the live streams and interact with you guys in real time instead of like post something and then wait for comments to come in as people like realize what I'm saying. It's a lot more fun to kind of do the live like that. So that's going to be the trick. Any kind of support whatsoever, no minimum at all, any kind of support, and you are entered to win Old Big Mech's army. And it's again, it's going to be hundreds of dollars worth of stuff. It's going to be a huge, massive chunk of army and kit bashing and really cool pieces. And yeah, it's going to be really, really nice. It's about $100 per pound of shit. Something relevant Cambodia. Dude, Cambodia. Dude, that's awesome, Rectopus. Nice. Ah, all right. That's my stream. I hear Grotz moving around up there. I got to go administer the anti-nurdle sedatives again and all of that stuff. Yeah, so I got to get going, but I really appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out with me during the live stream today. I'll post this up so people can watch it later on. Maybe you'll watch it again while you're painting, stuff like that. But yeah, I thought that a New Year's Day live stream would be a heck of a lot of fun. And I really, really, really wanted to announce that Win Old Big Mech's Army thing. Again, New Year, new army. Nah, New Year, more orcs. That is going to be our motto for the next couple of months, to get used to that. Yeah. Thanks everyone for coming. Thanks for commenting. Thanks, Joseph. Thanks, Blissful Badger, Keith, Daka, everybody. Really appreciate it. I'm going to take care of all these grots, try to get everybody better so that we can get into this new year and really, really rock it. Because I'm really looking forward to a lot of stuff coming up, and just got to get everybody. Just got to get everybody healthy enough to actually do it. So, all right. Love you all. You guys have a wonderful night and a happy new year, and I'll catch you the next one. Wagon!